There is a significant part of the Old Testament that goes unnoticed by many modern Christians regarding the covenant of Abraham. When reading a story, it's only natural to find ourselves in the narrative. We do this with all stories, especially the Bible. However, there are potential pitfalls to finding yourself in the story of the Bible. One of which is we tend to read over parts that we feel don't apply or relate to us. When we look at God's relationship with Abraham, there are many things we hear said in church services across America. God called Abraham to leave his home. Abraham believed God's promise based on his word. Abraham sacrificed what was most important to him. These stories are easy to relate to. What often gets missed in this story is God makes a solemn promise, a covenant, that the land of Canaan, modern-day Israel, will be the home of Abraham's descendants. But for most of us who are Gentile believers, we don't live in the land of Israel. We don't think much about the physical land of Israel. And we tend to spiritualize everything in Scripture to the metaphysical, the heart, the motivation, the type and shadow of what's happening, using the physical places and events as analogies of a greater truth. Now, there's nothing wrong with looking at the types and shadows behind a story. There's often great revelation found. But sometimes we take so much liberty, we repudiate what's happening in the story. The word land is mentioned in the Hebrew scriptures more than the word covenant. And when covenant is mentioned, 70% of those mentions include a direct or indirect link to the promise of the land. Many believe that because Jesus died and was resurrected to bring salvation to the whole world, that God is no longer concerned with a small patch of land in the Middle East. But this is truly a misunderstanding of a covenant. Covenants, by definition, are intended to be forever. There's no biblical precedent for God making a covenant and then breaking it because something better came along, or it was simply just a means to an end. God is not a covenant-breaking God. If he was, we're in big trouble. God did not nullify his covenant with Israel. He expanded it. The olive tree mentioned in Romans 11 did not get cut down. Branches were added into it. This means that the land of Israel still plays a vital role in God's story. It has played a crucial role from Genesis 12 to Revelation. Psalm 132 says that Jerusalem is God's eternal dwelling place. And Psalm 122 instructs us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem and that all who love that city will prosper. So if you never have before, pray for the Jewish people and pray for the peace of Jerusalem over the land of Israel, a very real part of God's covenant and a very real part of our future.